The movie begins several years after a zombie outbreak has spread across the world. A young undead man, a zombie, spends his days wandering around an airport somewhere in the United States after becoming infected. He can't remember anything about his past life, his family, or even his own name. The only thing he remembers is that his name started with the letter R, so that's what he calls himself. He lives alongside other zombies, including a terrifying group known as the Bonies, whose skin has completely decayed, making them far more savage and dangerous than ordinary zombies. The zombies can't communicate with one another, move slowly, and usually travel in packs to hunt the few surviving humans. One day, R, his zombie friend M, and several others head toward the city, where a group of survivors lives inside a heavily fortified base surrounded by massive walls. The settlement is led by Colonel Grigio, who has just sent out a supply team that includes his daughter Julie and her boyfriend Perry. Perry enters a pharmacy and gathers as much medicine as he can carry to bring back to the survivors. However, R and the other zombies catch his scent and attack the building. The group fights back, but since zombies can only be killed by a shot to the head, the survivors are quickly overwhelmed and picked off one by one. Despite everything, Julie refuses to give up. The moment R sees her, he falls in love with her at first sight. The battle continues, and the zombies clearly have the upper hand. Still, Perry refuses to back down and manages to shoot R in the arm. Enraged, R grabs Perry by the legs and slams him to the ground. At first, he's distracted by the watch on Perry's wrist, but his hunger soon takes over. He bites Perry's arm, and although Perry would eventually turn into a zombie, R kills him before the transformation can happen. Afterward, R takes a piece of Perry's brain because zombies can relive a victim's memories by eating their brain. As soon as he does, he experiences flashes of Perry's past, including how he first met Julie and several happy moments they shared together. After the fight, R follows Julie and her friend Nora, the only two survivors of the attack. Julie runs out of ammunition and throws a knife at R, but it has no effect. He approaches her, but instead of biting her, he manages to speak a few words and tells her to come with him, promising she'll be safe by his side. With no other choice, Julie follows the zombie horde while Nora watches everything from her hiding place, unable to help her friend. To keep the other zombies from attacking Julie, R smears zombie blood all over her face, then takes her to his hideout inside an abandoned airplane at the airport. Once they arrive, Julie breaks down in tears over Perry's death. Surrounded by dozens of zombies with no way to escape, she feels completely trapped. R assures her that he won't bite her and leaves her alone inside the plane so she can calm down. He then hides inside a nearby car and eats the extra pieces of Perry's brain he had saved in his pocket, hoping to learn more about Perry's relationship with Julie and find a way to get closer to her through those memories. Through Perry's memories, R discovers that Julie has a strained relationship with her father, who became obsessed with building the city's wall after his wife died. He also witnesses Perry's heartbreaking memory of finding his own father after he had turned into a zombie, forcing Julie to kill him right in front of Perry. After learning all of this, R returns to the airplane and tries to comfort Julie. He puts on some music using a record player. Julie is shocked to see a zombie behaving so politely and humanely. She asks him who he is and why he saved her, but he doesn't answer. Instead, he stretches out across one of the airplane seats beside her, and they quietly listen to the music together. The next morning, Julie wakes up to find R sitting beside her, watching her. Even so, he shows no intention of attacking her. Julie insists that she wants to return home, but R explains that it's too dangerous to leave because the other zombies would never let her get through safely. She tells him she's hungry, so R goes out to find her something to eat. The moment he leaves the plane, Julie secretly slips away and runs across the airport runway. Unfortunately, the area is crawling with zombies, making it impossible for her to get through unnoticed. Seconds later, R catches up with her. Once again, he smears zombie blood across her face and tells her to act like a zombie so they can pass safely. The plan works perfectly. Together, they find a can of fruit salad and return to the airplane. Back inside, R gives Julie something to drink. She thanks him and admits she's becoming more and more amazed because she's never imagined a zombie could actually talk. Still, she insists on going home, but R convinces her to stay for a few more days until the other zombies forget about her. In reality, that was just an excuse to keep Julie close to him a little longer. Even though she doesn't really have a choice, she agrees to stay. Looking for a way to pass the time, the two climb into a convertible and drive it down the airport runway. Before long, Julie is actually having fun as she teaches R how to drive, though he eventually crashes into a parked car in the airport parking lot. After that, R and Julie return to the airplane, where Julie looks through all the items R has collected over the years. Like many zombies, he's gotten into the habit of keeping anything interesting he comes across while wandering. As she explores his collection, Julie also introduces him to some of the simple things humans enjoy, like reading, playing games, and dancing. Despite those happy moments, Julie eventually asks about Perry, worried that he might have turned into a zombie. She breaks down in tears over losing him, never realizing that the zombie standing in front of her is the one responsible for his death. R tries to comfort her by telling her Perry never became a zombie. He quickly changes the subject and puts another record on the turntable. Julie eventually falls asleep, but since R is a zombie, he can't sleep or dream. Instead, he eats another piece of Perry's brain to experience more of his memories. This time, he relives the moment Colonel Grigio recruited Perry and sees how dedicated he was to helping the survivors and wiping out the zombies. The memories continue until R witnesses the battle inside the pharmacy. Through Perry's eyes, he sees himself as nothing more than a monster. Overcome with guilt, he throws away the remaining pieces of Perry's brain. Later, R goes to check on Julie, only to discover that she's escaped from the airplane once again. He rushes after her and finds her inside the airport fighting off a group of zombies with a lawn mower. Among them is his friend, M. Despite her determination, Julie can't hold them off forever, and M is just about to bite her when R steps in. He punches his friend, shoves the other zombies away, and saves Julie's life. Once she's safe, Julie reminds R that several days have passed, yet he still hasn't kept his promise to let her leave. While they're talking, M stands up and tells R to eat the girl because she's still alive, and that's what zombies are supposed to do. R refuses, making the situation even more tense. Suddenly, one of the terrifying bonies appears. Knowing he has no chance of defeating the creature, R grabs Julie and runs toward the airport parking garage. Unfortunately, they discover even more bonies surrounding the area. Just when all hope seems lost, M shows up driving a golf cart, plowing into the zombies and clearing a path for them. He apologizes to R for the way he acted earlier and decides to help him get Julie safely out of the airport. The three of them head toward a car, but another group of zombies blocks their way. At that moment, R and Julie hold hands and calmly walk straight toward the zombies. Completely surprised by this unexpected behavior, the zombies simply step aside and let them pass. The two drive away through the pouring rain, and Julie takes R to her old house so they can spend the night somewhere safe. There, she finds her old Polaroid camera, and the two of them spend some time taking pictures together to capture the memories they're making before settling in for the night. Meanwhile, back at the airport, M and several other zombies wander around until they find a photograph of a man and a woman holding hands inside a store. The moment M looks at the picture, memories from his past begin flooding back, reminding him of the woman he loved when he was still alive. He isn't the only one. Other zombies who see the photo experience the same thing. For the first time in years, their hearts begin beating again. That emotional moment is interrupted when the bonies sense that the zombies are becoming more alive. Viewing them as a threat, the bonies decide to hunt them down. Back at Julie's house, R and Julie hear the sound of vehicles approaching. Looking out the window, they spot Colonel Grigio and several soldiers searching for her. Julie stays hidden because she knows her father would kill R the moment he sees him. Later that night, they decide to get some rest. Julie's clothes are still soaked from the rain, so she changes into something dry. Seeing her afterward causes R's once dead heart to beat again, stronger than ever before. Julie then asks R whether he truly has to eat human flesh. He tells her that if he doesn't, he'll die all over again. Even so, Julie believes he's different from the other zombies, and even different from many humans. Despite constantly fighting his instincts, he has never tried to hurt her. The fact that he treasures old belongings and memories proves that, even in his current state, he's still trying to enjoy life the best he can. In the end, Julie thanks him once again for saving her life so many times and tells him that he's a good person. Her words hit R deeply, and he realizes he can't keep the truth hidden any longer. He confesses that he was the one who killed Perry. To prove it, he gives Julie the watch he took from Perry's wrist just before biting him. When Julie hears the truth, she admits that she'd suspected it all along but didn't want to believe it because she'd grown attached to R. He sincerely apologizes for what he did, but Julie simply turns her back to him and tries to rest. Although R has never been able to sleep before, he decides to try for the first time, and to his surprise, he actually dreams. In the dream, he finds himself standing in a beautiful field of flowers, where Julie, Perry, and Nora are talking about the careers they hope to pursue in the future. As R walks toward them, he realizes he can speak normally. Julie asks him what he wants to become. He simply replies that he wants to be with her. But Perry tells him that will never happen because Julie could never forgive him for what he did. A short time later, R wakes up and discovers that Julie is gone. He searches the entire house but finds nothing except the Polaroid pictures she left behind as a keepsake. Realizing she has left him, he heads back toward the airport, convinced that someone like him could never be with Julie because of what he is. Meanwhile, Julie drives back to the survivor base, but her car runs out of gas, forcing her to walk the rest of the way. When she reaches the wall, one of the guards refuses to let her inside until he's certain she hasn't been infected. After scanning her eyes with a detection device, he confirms that she's healthy. Moments later, Colonel Grigio arrives and the two are overjoyed to see each other again. Even so, Julie can't stop thinking about R. At the same time, R wanders through the city, desperately trying to forget Julie, but he can't. As it starts raining again, he suddenly feels cold for the first time, as though his body is slowly coming back to life. While walking, he's surprised to see M approaching with several other zombies. M explains that they've been searching for both him and Julie because the bond between them has caused something extraordinary to happen. He says he's begun remembering emotions and memories from when he was alive, and the same thing is happening to the other zombies as well. At that moment, R realizes that the undead are changing. They are no longer mindless creatures driven only by hunger. Determined to tell Julie the truth, he asks the group to help him reach her, and they all agree without hesitation. After that, the group heads toward the stadium. From Perry's memories, R knows there's a hidden passage inside that leads directly into the survivor's base. As he walks through the entrance, he pulls up the hood of his jacket to hide the fact that he's a zombie. He does everything he can to resist attacking anyone. Even when a few goats wander past him, he manages to keep his instincts under control. While walking, he catches his reflection in a store window and notices that his skin is no longer as pale as it used to be. Thanks to his powerful sense of smell, R tracks down Julie, who is staying in a mansion with Nora. The two friends talk about Julie's experience with the zombie, and although she doesn't want to admit it, she confesses that she misses R. Nora thinks the whole situation is crazy, but she realizes her friend may actually be falling in love with a zombie. She leaves Julie alone with her thoughts and goes to get some rest. Julie steps outside to get some fresh air, and as soon as R sees her, he calls out to her. She's overjoyed to see him again, but she knows that if any soldier spots him, he'll be killed instantly. Moments later, they hear the sound of approaching sirens, so Julie quickly sneaks R inside the house before anyone notices. Inside the mansion, Julie touches R and realizes that his body temperature has risen. The three of them gather in one of the rooms, where R explains that the zombies are changing. They've started talking, feeling emotions, and even dreaming. He tells Julie that all of this happened because of her. Unfortunately, those changes have enraged the Bonies, causing them to hunt the evolving zombies. R explains that they need to act fast and convince everyone that humans and zombies can coexist and work together to defeat the real threat, the Bonies. Julie agrees to help, but she knows convincing her father won't be easy. So, they decide to make R look more human first. With Nora's help, R takes a shower, and the two women use makeup to cover the unnatural paleness of his skin. After a lot of effort, the makeover is a success, making R look much more like a normal person. Nora, and especially Julie, are amazed by the transformation. Now all that's left is convincing Colonel Grigio, and they need to do it quickly because the Bonies have already left the airport and are heading toward the survivor base. A few minutes later, Nora, Julie, and R arrive at the Colonel's command post, but one of the soldiers refuses to let them in. Despite that, the three force their way inside. Julie finds her father preparing for a massive battle against the Bonies. He admits that even all of their weapons may not be enough because the enemy greatly outnumbers them. Julie tells him that the only way to stop the Bonies is by joining forces with the other zombies because she's seen with her own eyes that they can change and recover. Just as she expected, her father dismisses the idea as complete madness. He insists that zombies do nothing but eat human brains, just like what happened to his wife and Perry. Then he orders Julie to return home and stay somewhere safe while the battle takes place. At that moment, R steps forward to prove Julie has been telling the truth. The Colonel asks who he is, but immediately realizes he's a zombie and points his gun straight at him. Julie steps in front of R, begging her father not to shoot because the zombies are their only hope of surviving the Bonies' attack. Even then, the Colonel refuses to believe her and seems ready to put a bullet through R's head. But Nora surprises everyone by aiming her own gun at the Colonel and demanding that he let Julie and R leave. The two escape, and R tells Julie that he has to warn his friends inside the stadium before the Bonies arrive. Julie agrees to go with him, but at that moment, the base's alarm sirens begin blaring, making it clear that the soldiers are about to lock the entire area down. They rush to the stadium, where they find dozens of zombies gathered with them, all ready for battle. Almost immediately, the Bonies launch their assault, crashing through the glass roof and attacking the zombies. M tells Julie and R to run while he and the others stay behind to hold the monsters off. Julie and R flee as Julie fires her pistol at the Bonies chasing them. At the same time, the soldiers storm the stadium and try to fight the creatures, but the Bonies are much stronger and begin taking them down one after another. In the middle of the chaos, one soldier struggles to reach his weapon as a Bonie closes in to kill him. Suddenly, one of the zombies jumps in, smashes the creature with a fire extinguisher, and then offers the soldier a hand to help him back to his feet. Meanwhile, R and Julie continue running until they're cornered by two more Bonies. Julie fights back, but one of the monsters knocks her gun away and prepares to kill her. Furious, R grabs a payphone and uses it as a weapon to smash both Bonies, saving Julie's life once again. Moments later, more soldiers arrive at the stadium, but they freeze in disbelief when they see the zombies fighting the Bonies to protect them. Despite their shock, the soldiers accept the zombies' help, and humans and zombies fight side by side against their common enemy, making the battle much more evenly matched. Even so, there are still more Bonies left. R and Julie find themselves surrounded outside the stadium. They try escaping through a doorway, only to realize it leads to a massive drop outside the building. Julie believes it's the end, but R promises he'll protect her until the very last moment. Holding Julie tightly in his arms, R leaps into a fountain below, taking the full impact of the fall himself and saving her life. Julie desperately searches for him and finds him unconscious beneath the water. Terrified, she keeps calling his name until he finally opens his eyes. Overwhelmed with relief, Julie kisses him, and R kisses her back. In that moment, he completely forgets his zombie instincts. Julie notices that his skin is no longer pale and that his eyes have returned to their natural color. It seems as though he's becoming human again. That emotional moment is interrupted when Colonel Grigio appears and shoots R. He threatens to finish him off with one final shot to the head, but Julie begs her father to help him, insisting that there's still hope for those infected with the virus. Then something incredible happens. Blood begins flowing from R's gunshot wound, something that never happens with ordinary zombies. Julie pleads with her father once more, explaining that it's proof R is coming back to life because of the feelings they share. Faced with something he's never seen before, the Colonel lowers his weapon and orders his team to treat R's wound. He takes both his daughter and R back home, finally realizing that Julie had risked everything to prove he was wrong. Meanwhile, the soldiers and their new zombie allies defeat the remaining Bonies once and for all, eliminating the threat completely. A few days later, the surviving zombies begin reintegrating into society. Through reconnecting with other people, they gradually recover from the infection, regain their memories, relearn how to live alongside humans, and completely lose their craving for human flesh. As for Julie and R, they remain together outside the wall, happy that they've given both humans and zombies a chance to live in peace. While enjoying a quiet day together, Julie asks R if he's ever remembered his real name or chosen a new one. He smiles and tells her he's perfectly happy being known simply as R, because the only thing that matters to him now is his new life with Julie. In the film's final scene, the two stand together watching the massive city wall collapse, symbolizing the end of the division between humans and zombies, and bringing the story to a close. Thanks for watching. Don't forget that your opinion matters to us, so be sure to leave a comment below and subscribe to the channel.